guys, Kamina the Koach. I am an educator who's been working and living abroad since 2011-ish, 2000. Can I not be honest and say that my memory is just really bad? So my name is Kamina the Koach. I'm an educator who's been working and living abroad for over a decade, let's say that. In March of 2020, I was forced back to the United States due to COVID. So I really aggressively started addressing early childhood trauma and adoption trauma. September of 2022, I was lucky enough to get back out of the United States, and I am currently recording from Baghdad, Iraq. So you will find a mixture on this channel of videos about working and living abroad, how to live a better life, and working through early childhood trauma and adoption trauma. What's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, and kind of a breakdown of what I have learned and read from experts and other people who are teaching about this. So this video, I am relatively hesitant to put this video out. So before I start recording, I will say that I am neurodivergent, undiagnosed, possibly somewhere on the scale in regards to autism, but definitely neurodivergent because early childhood trauma definitely reshaped my brain. I'm also a highly sensitive person, so I experience the world differently, internally and externally. The five senses, emotional senses, I just feel things on a much deeper level. I'm 44 and I've probably been masking most of my life, which is a hard thing to understand, but it's kind of liberating because I'm reaching a state of overwhelmed, which I really didn't understand. So I want to preface this video by saying that first. So I'm an educator. I'm really lucky right now to have a lot of time off during the summer. So I had 6 weeks off during the summer. I spent 4 weeks of that in Thailand. And so two different places that I've been before, Thailand and Dubai in the UAE. Dubai is a city in a country called the United Arab Emirates. Just because I feel like a lot of people in the United States don't get an opportunity to travel and kind of perceive Dubai as a country instead of a city in a country. It's an emirate in a country, kind of like a state. Anyways, so I want to talk about my experience in Dubai because I was in a couple of Black in Dubai groups and I saw people bashing this Black American woman who has had her passport confiscated for shouting in public. And I'd like to loosely quote the therapist and author Resmaa Menakem by saying that trauma presented often enough in a person is mistaken as personality, and trauma presented often enough in a group of people is mistaken as culture. So when I first came overseas, when I was in China, I know that I had an angry outburst. Again, culturally, it's not really culture, it's trauma the way that it shows out. So I had an angry outburst in China, and I had to learn the hard way that that is not how we get things done, how we can get things done overseas. I definitely had to learn it, and it's disturbing to me to see the Black American community turn on this woman, especially a lot of people who have not been to Dubai. Maybe not been out of the United States further than Mexico or the Bahamas or Jamaica. Do you have a passport? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so judgy. It's just disturbing to me. So my experience, so I used to live in the UAE. This is probably my 4th or 5th time to Dubai. I specifically went to Dubai to swim with the sharks in the Dubai Mall, which I think is a really amazing opportunity. I didn't get to do that, but I'm going to get to the reason why I didn't get to do that. I'm at a place in my life, just in this space in my life right now, where I can afford to travel quite luxuriously outside of the United States, for sure, because the luxury that I'm afforded outside of the United States, I could never afford in the United States. So I stayed at a Crown Plaza, and the Crown Plaza is connected to an Intercontinental, also connected to a mall, and thank goodness, because the air quality was so bad. They have an outdoor hot tub at the Intercontinental, so I would go from the steam room to the hot tub 2 days in a row, and you can still kind of hear it. I was sick from the time I got there till the time I left. The air quality index was about, at one time when I checked, it was like 198. Bright red, please don't go outside, wear a mask, and I have video like every single day. And people's defense was, oh, it's because it's the summertime, it's, sand in the air. This wasn't sand particles. This is a lot of pollution from the overpopulation and not managing the exhaust output of the cars. And it was just absolutely disgusting. I was sick almost right away. I spent hundreds of dollars to try to manage this. So needless to say, I didn't get to swim with the sharks. So I'm staying at a 4 or 5 star luxury hotel, beautiful view, beautiful room, one amazing staff. Let's get that out of the way. Amazing staff, beautiful room. You couldn't pay me to go back there ever again. And if this would have been my first traveling experience, it's possible I would have spazzed out. So if you don't know, this young woman, I don't know the real story. All I know is she's an influencer. She went and she had a public outburst that's caused her to be detained, and her passport has been taken. Now, mind you, we rallied around, or a lot of people rallied around the athlete who was arrested in Russia for having CBD oil. And I'm disturbed because a lot of people are like, oh, morality laws, and you need to research the laws before you go to a country. Same situation, really. She broke a law in these countries that they went to. But the difference is in Russia, if a local person had CBD oil, they'd also be detained. In the Emirates, had a local person had an outburst the way that this young woman did, I seriously doubt that they would have been detained. I also saw somebody else, I don't know, I was in a really bad space while I was there because of the way that I was treated. So I looked at social media that I wouldn't have normally looked at. I usually avoid bad news because I am so sensitive and I know that it will spiral me. But I had a really horrible time there because of how I was treated. I was treated like the help by almost every single person from the Gulf that I encountered. So the Gulf Coast countries being Bahrain, Dubai, the Emirates, Bahrain. I enjoy Bahrainis, but just letting you know the countries in the Gulf Coast. So the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Kuwait, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. So encountering these people from this area, and you can tell by their garments. And I'm a pretty smiley, friendly person. Almost everyone I encountered engaged me dismissively. I have so many stories that I would take up the whole video if I gave you a recount of all the stories. Where is, I don't consider myself a feminist, but a man pushing past me out of an elevator says to me that you're dismissive. You're dismissing me. One man asked me where I was from. I said I was American, but where are you from originally? I was just a little girl said to me, "What color are you, anyways?" After I had been complimenting her, and her family had no reaction to that. And I don't blame the child. She's only watching and replicating from her family. Or their family has a nanny with them, and the nanny has to sit at a table separate of the family. Um, just so many encounters like this. An Arab man working for the hotel grabbed a South Asian man by his shoulders and told him if he did whatever it was again, he would slap him. The racism, classism in this part of the world is rampant. Now, mind you, I am a paying guest at a 4 or 5-star luxury resort. And one day I had 3 incidents. 3. I was so overloaded. If it wasn't for the people that worked there, who were also commiserating, anytime I spoke to somebody who worked there and I talked about what I was experiencing, they were like, "Yes, madam, us as well." A family of Arabs rented all the rooms around me, and the kids were up and down all night long, slamming doors and talking loud, and security came and begged them. Because they're not allowed to assert themselves, so they're begging them. It didn't matter. From 11 o'clock at night till at least 1:30 in the morning. It was just a really, really horrible experience. And the air quality is horrible. I don't know why so many people are moving there. And what's really interesting is every person of color outside of Arabs that I spoke with was like, "Yes, it's miserable here. I don't know why I'm still here. The money translates well to the country that I'm from." Just a really distasteful, horrible experience. And every encounter that I had was another opportunity for me to lose my mess on these people. I was so wound up that when I finally got back to Iraq, I actually snapped at a man at the airport because he pushed past me to get his bag. It made really pushed in front of me. And I was very mindful to be very careful while I was there in the UAE, and just as I moved through life, because like I said, I had that incident in China that really backfired, where I kind of lost my decorum. I don't think that I shouted to the degree that this young woman did, but I totally understand. And the way that Black women are move through the world internationally, and the way that everyone else moves through the world is completely different. And it may be a different experience for a Black American man. I know plenty who have told me things. I've witnessed it as well. They're often kind of regarded like superstars, but Black women automatically, hands down, especially in the Gulf, are just often assumed to be the maid, the housekeeper, witnessing the way that they treat their maids and housekeepers, by the way, publicly degrading. It's just, I'm very overloaded right now. I had to wait a day before I did this video because I'm still very triggered and very activated by this experience. And just such a disappointment, just a real disappointment. Again, they couldn't pay me to go back for that experience. I'm not saying that shouting at anyone is the way to get things done, but trauma being presented the way that it is, and the angry Black woman narrative, well, we have a lot to be angry about. And for sure, it's a struggle that I battle with daily. Not weekly, monthly, and it's every day that I have to have a conversation with myself to calm, and which is why I stay very isolated. And it's actually a relief to be back here in Iraq in a very isolated type of situation, because I actually feel safe here, because I'm not going to be, I feel protected. Whereas there, in a 4-star resort, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel protected. And if I didn't have the world experience that I did, I could have easily snapped, easily I was always triggered. After witnessing the man say that he would slap the worker, I slept for almost 20 hours. I was so activated and overloaded. Um, so if you're looking for a place to work and live abroad, I mean, temporarily, if you're just trying to make some money, I can't imagine why you would choose Dubai unless they're paying you a lot of money, because it's a really expensive, I mean, generally speaking, it's a really expensive place to live. Um, I just can't recommend it. And again, I preface this with the fact of who I am and how I view the world. And most of my followers for this channel probably kind of relate to who I am and how I view the world. If you're a very tough-skinned person and constantly being dismissed and looked over doesn't bother you, if you are a man of any race, I mean, it's probably going to be a different situation for you. But if you are a sensitive Black woman, I cannot imagine how this would be a pleasant situation for you. So yeah, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it as a holiday. If you're looking for Arab culture, go to Oman. If you're looking for Arab luxury without that kind of vibe, I recommend Bahrain. I don't recommend it. I'll never go back again. I didn't get to swim with the sharks, and and it's a loss, but I'll never spend money to go back there again. Again, does some of it have to do with who I am? Sure. But the fact that, you know, I had it confirmed, and I spoke with another guest, another family that is British by nationality, but by blood, probably Pakistani, somewhere from South Asia. Lovely family who has been going for 14 years, and every year they say they're not going back because of how they're treated. They go back because they're Muslim, and everything is halal there, so allowed Islamically. So that's why they go back for the kids. And I'm like, maybe consider something else next year, Oman or Bahrain. Something not there. So I felt compelled to do this video because this young woman is being rode hard. Oh, and let me back up a little bit with morality laws. The morality laws only apply when you're a one-off. It doesn't apply to everyone. And like I was saying, if a local person would have done what she did, or anyone from the region, and I have seen Saudi women go off in public at me even, because I asked her not to step in front of me in line. It just depends on who you are. It's not applied across the board. Morality laws are not really a thing. You can have a woman in a burqa and a woman in a thong right there in the same space. I saw an influencer say, I couldn't wear what I have on here in Dubai. Yes, ma'am, you could. There are prostitutes in every high-end bar wearing next to nothing. Plenty is acceptable. It's like Vegas. It's like Vegas in the Middle East, but worse. So, yeah. So I'd be very careful taking advice from people who haven't traveled. I even saw Candace Owens talk about this. Just like morality laws. Miss Candace, I would love for you to go check it out sometime. I don't usually get very political, but this is really, I'm just speaking from a very sensitive Black woman's perspective. It's wrong. It's wrong, and they won't get my money ever again. If you disagree, you are absolutely welcome to your opinion. If you are from the GCC and you have experienced me at any point, I absolutely understand that the finger is not the hand, and not everyone is like this. 100%. Not everyone is like this, that's for sure. I've taught amazing, amazing young women in Saudi Arabia. I had a beautiful experience with some women that I taught in Saudi Arabia. Of course, this doesn't apply to everybody, but this was my generalized experience of 2 weeks of pure racism, classism in Dubai. And I 100% stand by this statement. So, until next time, that's all I've really had to say in this video. My name is Kamina the Koach, sending you love, light, peace, and joy. And until next time, as I said, Kamina the Koach. I'm out.